Hey guys, it's Sasha. So today I'm going to be doing a full face of Milani makeup that I bought at Shoppers Drug Mart. Milani, I believe it's like more of a American brand. Does it say where it's made? Made is USA. I'm just gonna put that bag on the floor before I drop it and break everything. Made is USA. Okay. Milani was only ever really sold at like Lawton's and more American drugstore type of places. It was never sold at Shoppers Drug Mart, which is kind of like the main place for Canadians to buy drugstore makeup. But recently, they started carrying it all across Canada in Shoppers Drug Mart, so that's pretty freaking awesome. I'm really excited about this because the closest Lawton's to me that carries like Milani and Wet n Wild and stuff like that is like over an hour away, so it's pretty exciting now that I have Milani like down the friggin' road. Well, not down the road, but you know what I'm saying, not like an hour away. I'm pretty excited that from now on, it's not going to be hard for me to get my hands on it, and I can only earn optimum points on top of that.
I'm all about the points.
Would it even be a proper video if you didn't hear someone razzing a quad in the background? Anyways, I went a little crazy and I wanted to try out a lot of stuff because the stuff that I have tried from Milani in the past I've really liked. If you want to see a full face kind of first impressions of me trying out Milani makeup and how I feel about their products, then keep on watching. Don't forget to hit the I never get this right. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I might be pointing on the wrong side. And give this video a thumbs up. Without further ado, let's get started. I already have all my skincare and eye creams and all that jazz on, so I'm gonna go right in with the primer. This is the Prime Perfection Hydrating Face Primer. It's oil-free. It says it primes skin to create a smooth canvas for makeup, hydrates and creates a natural finish, reduces redness and minimizes the look of pores. It has like a white kind of hue to it. You can't smell it on your face, but like when you smell it when it's on your fingers, it has a little bit of a weird smell to it, like a stinky skincare ingredient smell. It's not like a silicone primer, but somehow it does kind of make your skin feel smoother, and yeah, I don't know, I feel like this would be nice for someone with dry skin. I'm gonna go in now with the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 Foundation and Concealer. I have the shade 00A Porcelain. They must have expanded their shade range because I remember back like quite a while ago going to Lawton's and they didn't have many shades in this foundation, and I remember swatching the lightest shade on my hand and I was like,
whoa boy, like that is pretty orange.
But I swatched the tester of this at Shoppers and it was actually pretty fair. I was pretty surprised. So they like had to have updated their shade range. This says of medium to full coverage, lightweight oil-free formula, long wearing, water resistant and sweat proof. There we go. As you can see, like that's pretty light. Coming back at you, looking real hot. Because my camera, frickin' Sony, after filming for like 15-20 minutes, it'll shut off on me and say it needs to cool down. Like, you know what? Most foundations I have to add my NYX Pro foundation mixer and wait too, because apparently no brands like to make foundations light enough for me. But this one is actually pretty decent. I'm just gonna go in with my beauty blender and pat that on my face. Milani! I can't believe you guys extended your shade range to the point that the lightest shade actually kind of matches me. Like, good job. I didn't check out how dark they went, but I'm gonna have to Google now in a second and see how dark they go, because I mean, usually like if a foundation brand doesn't go extremely light, usually they also don't go extremely dark, but I mean like, they do go pretty white. I mean, if it matches me, then it's pretty white. They have 14 shades on here. That's not a huge range. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they have a huge shade range in the darker section. So Milani, step up your game, boy. Make some darker shades. If you're gonna go lighter, you gotta go darker. It says it's a medium to full coverage. I definitely do agree with that fact. I think right now on the first kind of like coating, it definitely is a medium coverage, but I like that because I don't like my foundations to look super thick and heavy on my face. I'd rather kind of a medium coverage and then put extra coverage wherever I need it. It says it's a concealer and foundation. Do I want to try to use this as a concealer? No. Am I going to try for the video's purpose? Yes. I'm gonna go in with a little pump underneath my right eye with the foundation. And I'm gonna go in on my left eye with my tried and true Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Chantilly. What I've been doing lately is I'll put the Nars concealer on my inner corner there, and I'll put this Benefit Bowing Hydrating Under Eye Concealer on the outside because it's super hydrating and I have super dry eyes. But I need to mix the two because the Benefit one is pretty orange on me. So this is the eye with real concealer and this is the eye with a squirt of the Milani foundation, but it's actually not that bad. I'm just gonna follow the trend we were doing and I'm gonna go ahead and use my Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer on this side of my face, and I'm gonna use the Milani Conceal Imperfect foundation as a concealer on this side of my face, just so like after we use some setting powder and stuff, we can really see if there's a huge difference between the two. I'm gonna take a little pump of the Milani foundation and use that as my concealer on this side of my face. I'm gonna try doing it on my acne scars and redness kind of here too. This is the Milani foundation. Oh yeah. There's not really a huge difference honestly between the two. Personally, I would just rather kind of go in with my regular concealer because I find that, I don't know if you can tell, but like there's still a little bit of redness peeking through here on this side where I use the Milani foundation as my concealer. I'm gonna try and do like a third coat there and see if that will do the trick. Yeah, it's still kind of peeping through there, but I feel like with my Nars concealer that usually doesn't happen. So, I mean, as a foundation, this is really nice and I can't believe that they go as light in the shade range as they do. I'm really impressed. And I also like the fact, like I said, it's a medium coverage. It's not too sheer and it's not too full and cakey. And I also like the finish of it. Of course, I prep my skin beforehand with a hydrating serum and a moisturizer. And I also use their hydrating primer. But like, as you can see right now before I put on any setting powder, like I still have quite a glow to my skin. Like it's not, but it's not super glowy and it's not also super matte. So it kind of has like a natural finish to it. Now I'm going to go in with the Prep Set Glow Illuminating Transparent Powder. On the back it says 02, but this was the only shade available. I'm not sure if it's actually going to be transparent. It looks pretty light. If I seen this and I didn't read that it's a transparent powder, I would automatically think that like it's a powder for people who are fair. So if you're more tan and you've tried this before, I'd like to hear your opinion on if you think it's actually translucent or not. Now that I think of it, they didn't have, I don't think so anyways, unless I'm crazy, but I don't think they really had any bronzer products. So I'm just quickly going to go in and do some cream bronzer to my face so I don't look like Casper the Ghost, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with that setting powder. When I raise my eyebrows, you can see on both sides the concealer crease, but I mean, what do you expect? I think most concealers will crease under your eyes because I mean we all have little lines there. A little tip I like to do is before I set my makeup, wherever I notice my makeup kind of gathers and goes in the creases or looks cakey or whatever, like for a lot of people that's their smile lines, but I don't have smile lines. For me it's more so in the crease of my nose and in the crease of my chin and as well as under my eyes. I'll just kind of go in with my finger and kind of take off as much makeup as I can in that area, because if you think about it, the more product that's in those places, the more chance it's going to ball up and look gross and cakey after a few hours. But the less product that's there, less of a chance that's going to happen because it's like your natural skin that's there instead of the makeup. Now I'm just gonna go in and put a light setting of this all over the rest of my face. The only thing I'm not liking is my nose. I don't know if I zoom in if you'll be able to see. But on my nose, it's kind of looking a little bit funky. It's kind of going into my pores almost. If I used a pore filling primer, maybe that wouldn't have happened. I don't know. But definitely something to note. Like I said, maybe I'm crazy, but I really feel like they didn't have a bronzer for some reason. So I'm just going to use the bronzer I've been using, which is the Bobbi Brown Golden Light Bronzing Powder. I hate when I first get my hair done and then I'm blonde on my roots because it's so hard not to get makeup in my hair. But you know what, it's whatever. Now that I have my bronzer on, I'm gonna go in with the highlighter and my Nude by Nature highlight brush. And we're gonna give it a little try. Oh. Jeez, that's pretty blinding. I like to put on my highlighter first and then my blush afterwards because then it makes the highlighter look more like a glow from within rather than just streaked on top of my face. I'm liking how glowy this is, but I will say that on my dry textured skin, it is emphasizing my texture a little wee bit, but it's not anything too crazy. And when I spray on the setting spray, it will probably eliminate that a little bit. Now I'm gonna go in with my Milani Baked Powder Blush in the shade Luminoso. I've had this for forever, like longer than I'd like to admit, and I'm only starting to hit pan on it now. I do use this every single day. It's for sure a favorite of mine. I haven't tried out the other things yet, but I will say, like, I absolutely 110% recommend this blush. I'm super fair and this blush works on me, and I've also seen it work on a lot of other YouTubers that have deeper skin tones than me a little bit. It's just a pretty peach color and it's not like super matte or anything, which is nice because when your blush is matte, usually like it's super pigmented and hard to blend out. I'm just gonna go in now with my Milani Make It Dewy Setting Spray. This is my first time buying the Make It Dewy setting spray. Usually I go with just the regular clear bottle, the Make It Last, and they also have one I think called like Make It Matte for someone who wants more of a matte finish, which would be better if your skin's a little bit more oily. It's still wet right now, but like it is pretty freaking dewy. If you don't want an overly dewy finish like this, just get the normal regular clear Make It Last bottle. I've bought multiple bottles of that and gone through them, and I do like them a lot. And it just kind of makes your makeup melt in without making you look overly matte or dewy. It just has a natural finish to it. The only thing I do have to mention though is the Make It Dewy one, the spray is a little bit weird. I don't know how to explain it. I find that half of it sprays nicely and then the other side just goes and sprays a little bit too crazy. But I did never find that the Make It Last in the clear bottle was like it. Okay, so now that my face is done and looking very dewy and glowy, I'm just gonna go ahead off camera and do my eyebrows. When I was shopping for the Milani makeup, they must have been all sold out of the blonde shade, so I didn't really want to waste my money on an eyebrow pencil that was for like medium brown hair or whatever, because clearly my hair is pretty light. Unfortunately, it's a full face of Milani minus bronzer. I don't know how to speak English apparently, and eyebrows. I'm just gonna quickly go off camera and do my eyebrows, and I'll be back for us to do the eyeshadow. Okay, so I have my brows done now, and I just want to point out something. I don't know if it's going to be super obvious on camera or not. I'm really not digging how this is looking on my nose. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it looks weird. I don't really know if this is because of the primer or the setting powder or what, but I'm definitely wiping it off. I'm going to reapply the foundation on that part of my nose, and I'm going to see if it's the primer. No issues right now. Let's go in with the setting powder and see. I'm still not digging it. Out of curiosity, I'm going to remove this again and try a different setting powder. I'm going to go over my nose instead with the Hourglass Translucent Veil Setting Powder. This is definitely not drugstore, but it's a powder that I've been loving lately. So I guess we'll see That's looking a lot better now. It's a lot smooth and it doesn't look like my makeup is half coming off my nose. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to say that this powder is a dud for me, which is kind of weird because as I was doing my brows, I was listening to a couple other videos of people talking about the Milani products, and a lot of people were saying they enjoyed this. So I don't know why, but clearly the powder just didn't work very well for my weird nose, I guess. Today has not been a good eyebrow day, unfortunately, but what can you do? I'm gonna go in now with this Milani eyeshadow primer. Over 8-hour wear, minimizes creasing, lightweight, non-sticky texture. Blend well over eyelid and allow to set for 30 seconds. It comes out tinted, but it blends out pretty clear. Oh, okay. All right, okay, all right. Okay, now I'm gonna open this Pure Passion eyeshadow palette. This is what it looks like inside. I'm just gonna go into the eyeshadow palette into this kind of ivory creamish shade. Personally, I just always like to put powder on top of my eyeshadow primer because if you think about it, it's a lot easier to blend shadow over shadow, in my opinion, rather than blending shadow over a sticky base. I'm gonna go in with this fluffy brush and I'm gonna go into this shade right here, which is just like a light warm brown shade, and I'm gonna start sweeping that in windshield wiper motions back and forth and building it up. This is blending up pretty nice. I'm just gonna go in now with this shade right here, and I'm gonna go in with a Zoeva soft refiner brush, and I'm just gonna put that in my outer corner here. I'm gonna go into the shade right here with my fingertip and kind of focus that on the outer part of my eyelid a little bit. I'm just gonna go in with this flat top brush and spray it with some setting spray. And now I'm gonna go in with this flat top shader brush and I'm gonna go into this shade right here. And I'm gonna pack that on the inner part of my lid. I'm gonna go in now with the iTech Extreme Liquid Eyeliner. This eyeliner isn't bad, but I have to say I definitely don't like it as much as the Stila one. It's a little too long for my liking. I wonder what it would be like to do a winged eyeliner. Should I even try? Now, if I could only get the other eye to go as well as that one did. Not too bad, if I do say so myself. I'm gonna go ahead now and try out the Dangerous Lynx Mascara. It's a little bit of a different looking brush. Oh my god, this one's actually nice. I mean, it's kind of hard to see because I have a huge wing liner there, but I'm gonna go and quickly throw on some falsies and I'll be back and we'll test out a lipstick. Okay, so now I got my falsies on. I'm just gonna go in with the highlighter and put some in my inner corner and my Cupid's bow and underneath my brow bone. Now I'm going to put on this Milani lipstick in the shade Precious. It's the only lipstick I believe I have from Milani. I'm not a huge fan of the color. Just going in with the NYX Liquid Lingerie in Satin Ribbon just to see if I can lighten this up a little bit. Okay, so this is my full face of Milani. This is the final look. The Prime Perfection Hydrating Primer. It wasn't too bad. I wasn't in love with it or anything. It did give my skin a little bit of a smoothing effect, but nothing too crazy like the Smashbox photo finish or anything like that, just a little bit of a smoothing finish, and it also was pretty hydrating. I'm gonna keep testing it out and I'll update you guys on a later video on how I ended up really feeling about this, but right now I'm kind of not too bad, but it's not too amazing. The foundation, Conceal Imperfect, is pretty good. I'm shocked that there was actually a shade there that matched me and I didn't need to add foundation whitener, so that impressed me a lot. It's definitely a medium coverage. It's not super thick and cakey, but it's not super sheer or anything like that, which I also really like. If you're not super into makeup and you don't want to have to buy a concealer and a foundation and a powder and a primer and all that kind of different steps, you can probably use it as a concealer too. You can get away with it. I have it on this side of my face as my concealer, and this side I have my concealer I usually use, and there's not a huge difference really. I give this a thumbs up. The Prep Set and Glow Illuminating Transparent Powder, I don't know how to talk apparently. This just didn't work for me. This definitely was a dud. I wouldn't recommend buying this, but I watched a couple other YouTubers videos and a couple people said that they really liked it. So I don't know why it didn't work for me, but I definitely wasn't a huge fan of this. I would recommend like a Maybelline Fit Me pressed or loose powder over this any day. This just wasn't my favorite. It made my skin on my nose look weird and I had to redo my makeup and figure out what it was, and I'm pretty sure this was the culprit, so I don't really like this. The Milani Baked Powder Blush in Luminoso, love it. I've had this for years. I wear it on the daily. I'm gonna need a new one soon because I'm starting to hit pan on mine, but like this is such a pretty color, super universally flattering. If you're looking for a new blush, I would 100% recommend this because it's my favorite one right now, even out of all my high-end ones. The highlighter, and I have the shade 01. It is pretty. It kind of emphasized texture a little bit on my skin, but I still probably would wear it again. It is just a really pretty color, and I mean for drugstore it's awesome because I mean I know a lot of people like the Maybelline highlight master, whatever they're called, what are they? I know a lot of people like these, the Maybelline Master Chrome highlighters, but personally where I'm super fair, I can't really find a shade that works for me because like this one, it's called Molten Rose Gold. It's a little too pink. I don't know if you can tell, but it's a little too pink for someone who's super fair, and then their other shades are a little too gold for someone who's super fair. And the same with the Essence Pure Nude highlighter, it's a little too dark for someone super fair. So like this is definitely going to be my new drugstore fave highlighter that I'll recommend to people who are fair. The eyeshadow primer is pretty nice, especially for how cheap it is. I can see why a lot of people rave about it. It is definitely good if you're looking for an eyeshadow primer and you don't want to spend a fortune. Then okay, I almost dropped it. Then you could definitely give this one a try. The Make It Dewy setting spray, I like how it made my skin look, but you don't want to go overboard with this because if you do, sometimes like, I don't know, sometimes if you go too overboard with this, like your skin doesn't really dry down at all. It just stays looking super soaked and wet, which can make your makeup not last as long. So you don't want to go overboard with this, but it is nice. The only thing I have to say is the spray nozzle on this one isn't that nice. I thought maybe I had a dud, but I watched a couple of videos when I was doing my eyebrows and I seen people saying the same exact thing, saying, oh, I don't know if I just have a dud, but the nozzle on this is crazy. So clearly the nozzle on this isn't good. So I probably really wouldn't recommend this. But I definitely would recommend this one right here. I don't have it on me right now, unfortunately, but I've gone through multiple bottles of it in the past and I like it. It's probably one of my favorite setting sprays, honestly. I like it even better than the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray. The eyeliner was actually pretty decent. I don't like how long the tip is. I wish it was a little bit shorter because where the tip is a little long, it's kind of hard to control it a little bit, but it was pretty easy to draw on a winged liner with it. For the price, it's pretty good. It is definitely waterproof and went on really smooth, just like the Stila one does, but my only beef with this is I wish it was a little bit shorter and a little bit skinnier maybe, but still a really good liner if you're wanting to try one out and not spend a ton of money. The mascara, Dangerous Lynx, was actually pretty nice. I'm pretty impressed. It has a bit of a freaky looking brush on it, but I don't know. Usually these type of brushes, I find that they're better for volume, but this actually did lengthen my lashes quite a bit, so I did enjoy this. The eyeshadow palette is phenomenal. They blend it out fine. The pigment in them is pretty damn good. I didn't have any issues with that at all. I would absolutely recommend this to you. It was unfortunately a little bit pricey, $28.99, but like I was saying in the beginning of the video, that's kind of in between drugstore prices and high-end prices, and it's definitely high-end quality. Like this is really nice. And if you do like those orangey, warm gold, rose gold tones, then you'll really like this. So yeah, I definitely get your hands on this if any of these shades intrigue you. And the last thing I want to talk about is the Amore Matte Lip Cream. I'm not digging the shade. For someone with like a light to medium skin tone, the shade would probably look really nice, but I'm not really digging it on me personally because usually I kind of like more like nudes rather than something like this. It does smell really nice and it has a really comfortable finish. It doesn't come off when you kiss your hand or anything like that, but it's not super drying either. I had to put a NYX liquid lingerie in the middle of it to lighten up a little bit because it was just way too dark. Yeah, that's pretty much it for today, you guys. All in all, in review, if you're gonna pick up anything from Milani, I would try their eyeshadow palette. I would try the just regular Make It Last, not the dewy one. Not too sure about the matte one. You'd be taking a chance because I don't really know, but I would try just the regular one in the clear bottle. The foundation is beautiful, and the eyeshadow, primer, mascara, and liner, they're all pretty decent. But my favorites out of everything here is that setting spray that I don't currently have on hand, the foundation, and the eyeshadow palette. The mascara and the liner were actually pretty good, but they're not like anything that I'm like, oh my god, like dying over. So that's all I really have to say. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment. And tell me about the products you've tried from Milani and what you liked and what you didn't. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Peace out.